Where do you go if you are creative? Where do you go to find others of like mind who have inspiration and maybe tell a story that hasn't been told? Have you ever heard, do you know that there is an association for Black indie filmmakers? I know you didn't know that because it just got started. And I am blessed to sit with the founder. Well, there's more, and I want to share it with you on Intensified Life TV with Dr. Lakeisha B. I have been in touch with some really phenomenal people, and one such person is right here. Ta ta! Listen, this is Thomas Carter. I need you all to make sure you pay attention to the face, the name. You're going to see it a lot more. He's already done some amazing things, and I'm just going to jump right in. Let's talk about this because
Thank you.
you just started something
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you. Thank you. So listen, first of all, it's an honor and a pleasure
Oh, thank you.
to be here with you and your amazing audience. Hello, everybody. So glad to be here. So,
Uh-huh.
uh,
Tell me, just jump in it.
okay.
What did you
So,
just do?
so what I just did, we started an organization. It's called the Black Independent Indie
Mhm.
Filmmakers Association. So I'm very excited
Come
about
on,
that
applause,
because
applause.
there's such a need, especially here in Houston, for uh, uh, a platform for a
Hmm.
lot of indie
Hmm.
filmmakers. I know how hard it is to do a film here, and there's not a lot of support. And so recognizing that, I prayed about it because everything I do, every move I make, uh, it's made in prayer.
Amen. I
Right.
know it
Yeah,
is.
absolutely. So I prayed about it, and then I launched. One of the things that I want to put out here right quick uh, is that what I found is anything that is what I consider to be purpose,
Yes.
your intention, the gifts that God has given you, you have to get out there
Mm.
and use it. Most
Yes.
people, they have incredible talents, incredible gifts. They have incredible stories to tell. They have so many things they want to do with their life, but they
Hmm.
don't make that step
You're so
to
right.
do it.
You're so right.
You have to commit to the step.
Yes. So you, so let me just say that blessed me because I've been working through some things personally. That's another conversation. But I've been working through some things personally because fear, feeling insecure, not feeling incompetent. I don't know what
Right,
to do. I
right,
don't know how to happen. And
right.
sometimes we don't always have trailblazers. But I do want to say that I heard you talk about being able to fill some big shoes or being connected
Right.
with some big shoes.
Absolutely.
Give us the
Absolutely.
short story on that because I
Well,
know him. Like I
right.
know who
Well,
he is.
the short story is that I'm married to Cheryl Lawson, who is a middle daughter of Reverend Bill Lawson, who is
Mm,
a huge icon,
yeah.
not only in Houston and Texas,
Yes.
but in the United States and probably globally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
being his son-in-law uh, and being able to see him and how he has navigated his life.
Mm-hmm.
And although I haven't been married a very long time, but
Mm-hmm.
long enough to see him in action, uh, and being motivated by what he has done,
Mm-hmm.
right, also helps motivate me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so he's very intentional with what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he never stops. I've noticed that with my wife Cheryl and the rest of the family, the
Mm-hmm.
Lawson family. They are just incredible people with purpose,
Mm-hmm.
with vision, and when they put their foot to the metal, as they say,
Mm-hmm.
they keep it there.
It's going. It
It's
press
going.
in, right?
They press in, right? And so just seeing that again
Yeah.
for me is helped motivate me at this stage of my life.
And I
Absolutely.
want to talk about that because you're not in your 20s. This is a cool man though. Don't sleep on the coolness, okay? Just look at him. He's a cool man. But you're not the 20-year-old that started up this Black indie filmmakers association. You're
Right.
not the 20-year-old, but you've had some different stages and phases of life and
Absolutely.
other careers. And how I even met you was you were doing photography.
Right. Right.
You've done a few things. So take us down memory lane. How many different paths and careers have you had?
Wow.
Yeah, give us
Okay.
the. You see, when a person says "wow," that means they're about to go back on you.
Right.
Okay.
So, uh, from a very early age, I'll say this. Since I can remember, I've always had what people call that entrepreneurial spirit. I've
Yes.
always wanted to do things outside the box
Mm-hmm.
and be my own boss.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember starting out in, I guess my first venture was in junior high school where they had junior achievement.
I
And
remember
so
that.
it started with junior achievement.
Wow, I
And
was into you.
yeah,
That's
so right,
good.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so that put a fire under me
Yes.
that never went out. And so there I've started restaurants and furniture
Really?
stores, yes. And I was probably one of the, you know, I'll say original young people in the Black Panther Party.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so civil rights stuff from
Mm-hmm.
that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've owned barbecue places. Uh, I actually helped to launch the Barack Obama campaign here in Houston.
Wow.
Yeah, so I
What
was,
haven't you done? Like,
yeah, so that photography.
uh-huh.
I had a massage wellness business,
Mm-hmm.
and
So you were a masseuse?
I was a massage, right? Did medical massage.
Wow.
Yeah, I did that. And then I had a talk show and uh, film now. I have a magazine. So,
Yes, I remember
yeah,
that as
Photo Shoot
well.
magazine is still going strong.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Listen, y'all, I'm gonna drop a picture in here because he let me be in the photo shoot magazine. That was a
absolutely.
blessing, a little treat.
Absolutely.
That's how I recall
That's how we
meeting you
met.
was
Right,
when you were in
right,
photography and
right.
they had fashion shows at the church, what have
Exactly.
you, when you let me see a few things and
Exactly.
behold, now here
Hmm.
we are talking about his whole life. You know what? Oh God, I love the fact that you didn't allow life or anybody else to box you into one space.
Right.
I mean, a masseuse and a barbecue restaurateur, Black Panther Party, Barack Obama campaign organizer, and now Black Indie Film Association.
Right.
I love that this diversity and this variation of you've allowed to come through at different seasons in life.
Absolutely.
And all of it I can see is about wherever you are present in that moment
Absolutely.
and let whatever God is doing in that moment come
Absolutely.
out to the fullest.
Absolutely. You know, and the thing about that again is that I like to tell people that don't be afraid to explore your life. You
Yes.
only have one life,
Mm-hmm.
right? Explore it
Yeah.
because there's different facets.
Yeah.
You know, there's different doors, there's different avenues. The one thing you have to be mindful of though is that, and I've always done this, and I think my mother instilled it in me,
Mm.
is that as you're going through this walk in life,
Mm-hmm.
that you want to keep your hand in God's hand.
Amen.
Yeah, because the thing about success, you know, I think there's two ways to have success. There's godly success,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's worldly success. And sometimes those two different successes both have this beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
shimmering
Mm-hmm.
look to it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you can be drawn either way.
Mm-hmm.
So you see people that have godly success, and you
Mm-hmm.
see people that have worldly success, and they both, in their own, again in their own way, are very attractive.
Mm-hmm.
But at least what you have to understand, well, what you have to understand is that godly success is the sex that will take you higher and bless you spiritually,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed, because it's the spiritual side of you
Mm-hmm.
that's eternal.
Mm-hmm.
The worldly success, yes, it's the cars and the houses and the
Mm-hmm.
fame and the fortune,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, you can't take that with you,
Amen.
right? And
Yeah.
and a lot of times, you know, what happens in worldly success is it's centered around greed, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily that you're trying to help other people. It's more
Right.
about you helping
Right.
yourself. Where with
Right.
God's success, it's always about planting the seed
Yes.
for the harvest, for not just for yourself but for God's people.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you know, I've always, everything I've ever done is never, I've never done it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I always do it with the thought in mind of who can I
Who
help
can I help? Mm-hmm.
to make their lives better. So
And I can say that I see it. I saw it before, but this you just answered a question because I wanted to know what made you want to do a movie about breast cancer survival, and I didn't know if it came from a personal experience, a friend, a family member, or just knowing there is a situation, there is a circumstance that needs to be highlighted more. And you wrote the script.
yes,
You wrote the script. I had the privilege of being in a little scene, but everything about it, and even the actors that you brought in, you're shining a light on new talent, fresh faces,
Right, right.
helping to create a platform for others who may not have had that opportunity. Tell me a little bit about how surviving the storm came about, since you talk about wanting to help others and
Okay,
do something for someone else.
okay.
What was the
Yeah,
inspiration
gladly.
behind that?
So, perfectly honest, perfectly transparent,
Yes.
which is why I say that you have godly success,
Uh-huh.
worldly success. Uh, the whole idea behind surviving the storm, I cannot take credit for because that was my first feature film,
Mm-hmm.
and I had no intention of actually doing a feature film. I was doing shorts and some other things,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, no, no desire necessarily to do a full length film, let
Mm-hmm.
alone about breast cancer, because
Mm-hmm.
I've had family members that have had cancer and stuff, but not something that would cause me to want to do a film
Mm-hmm. Okay.
about it. So what happened is one night, maybe at 3 in the morning, I had what could be considered a vision, and I
Mm.
saw the story from
Wow.
beginning to end, and it shook me
Mm.
because I literally saw the story, and so I woke up not knowing, what had just happened, knowing that I had saw this incredible story, very emotional story,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, and I went back to bed
Mm.
and went to sleep. Woke up the next day, still troubled by that, and maybe it was 2 days later that I believe God spoke to my heart and said, "You're going to do a film."
Wow.
And I'm like, "A film?" Because I had this conversation, as crazy as it may seem.
Uh-huh.
I actually had that conversation in a film. What are you
Mm-hmm.
talking about? Am I talking to myself? Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when we get these ideas, you have to ask
Yeah.
yourself, am I talking to myself, or,
Right.
or I'm hearing these voices again? Well, I heard that little voice.
Mm-hmm.
And so I questioned it, and uh, I got confirmation, and I just went on and sat down at the computer and wrote
Mm-hmm.
down what was in my head.
Yeah.
It was very hard, very emotional because I had to become those characters, and I saw what they were going through,
Mm-hmm.
and I wrote it, and then everything that I needed from that point on, God provided every
Yes.
single thing, right,
Wow.
from the actors to the every single thing I needed with that film was provided.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And that's a recurring theme for individuals who become, first of all, open to hearing God,
absolutely,
and then intentional about following
absolutely,
through, like
absolutely,
move in purpose and just trust that God is going to open up the way.
absolutely.
And it happens
and
over
and
and
it
over.
happens absolutely. And I want to just share this with the audience, and even some young people that
Yes.
there's some things you may want to do in your life. You say, well, I don't have the money,
Yeah. Come
I
on.
don't
Help
have
us. Help
the
us.
education for it. I knew nothing about making a film. I knew nothing about writing a script, none of that stuff. And so everything I learned was God given. It was strictly God given. I sat down and I YouTube, your best friend, YouTube, Google, right? Anything you want to know, you can Google it. So I Googled about filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
I took some online classes how to write a script. I found some software, and then I
Oh,
sat
that's
down,
awesome.
uh, and and God had already given me the story. All I had to do was type it in,
Mm-hmm.
and I typed it in,
Right. Right.
and there it was.
And I think that's worth pausing to emphasize, because you didn't just get a vision and run. You did the work to educate yourself.
Right.
You made maybe I knew nothing, but I'm going to do my work to
Absolutely.
research and
Absolutely.
invest in classes. Oh, that's
Absolutely.
so important, because
Absolutely.
sometimes I know that it can be daunting, first of all, just to hear God giving you instruction on something. And we sit back and make the excuse, well, since I don't know, maybe that's not it, but
Right.
rather lean into it and do the research, do the work. And when you do that, that is acting by faith. That is the faith without works is dead piece.
Absolutely.
That's the work. That's the beginning of it.
That's
That
the
then
beginning of it.
opens the door for God to show up and provide all the other things, because
Absolutely.
you're fully invested. I love
Absolutely.
this.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
And also I have to say too, I appreciate what you said to younger people, because and a lot of what I do, I hope inspires, especially young adults who are looking, seeking God's next, trying to figure out, where do I fit into this crazy life of whatever. Um, it's never too late to make a pivot, to move in a new direction. You start off young, yes, but even in your older age,
Absolutely.
it's never too late
Never too
to
late.
dream and
Never
move
too late.
forward and lean into the next thing, and not
Absolutely.
use an excuse of I don't know this or I don't have that.
Right.
Following, trusting God is amazing.
Follow and trust in God because He always provides. When God gives you a vision, He gives you provision
Yes,
every single time.
yes.
And it's always been that. That's always what I found to be the case in my whole journey of life. Everything that I've aspired to do, 9 times out of 10, I didn't have the experience, I didn't have the money, none of that. But I knew where to get the information
Yes.
and how to ask
Mm-hmm.
and talk to
Oh
people.
yes. Ask
Yeah,
and talk. Mm-hmm.
ask and talk to
So you've made a movie now, Surviving the Storm. Like you said, all of the cast came together, the location.
people.
As I mentioned, I was in awe just being at the reading table, the first meeting, and just watching it all unfold. But that's not the story. That's not the end of it. Making the movie is just part. Tell me what happened afterwards, because you had some great things that happened
Absolutely,
for that
absolutely,
movie.
absolutely. So here's what happened, and I'm glad you asked, right?
Uh-huh.
Because getting the movie done, as you said, was a big challenge within itself.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I have this film, right, what do I do with it?
Mm-hmm.
So I put it in, or I tried to put it in some film festivals. Nobody really wanted to see it,
Mm.
and so I got a little discouraged because at that point it's like, okay, God told me to make this film. I made
Mm-hmm.
it. I
Mm-hmm.
can't get it in any film festivals. I don't know where to get it distributed at, and so it just sat there for maybe 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, well, you told me to make it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with it at this point. You got to you
Mm-hmm.
got to take it from here. I've
Mm-hmm.
done all that I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And so right after that, I learned that I could get it on Amazon Prime. I said, oh, okay. So the next thing I made the calls and got the information, and it was released on Amazon Prime.
It was.
It was, yeah, absolutely. That was like really really cool.
I
It
remember.
was really
It
cool.
was really cool.
And so what happened when it went on Amazon Prime with no advertisement, no anything, nobody knew nothing about that film. Within 3 months, we had over 1 million views of that film.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know that part.
yes, it took off. So now, then shortly after that, now it became 2 million, right? Just took off. Just and the people started reaching out to me and how much it blessed their lives. People who had
Mm-hmm.
breast cancer or
Mm-hmm.
family members and stuff, and that was huge within itself. And so I was good with it right there. So shortly after that, I got contacted by a distribution company, and they picked it up and released it this July across multiple platforms. Peacock, Tubi, Vudu, and some other platforms, and the same thing. It just soared to the top,
Oh my
and
goodness.
so it's just doing amazing things.
And you just woke up with a vision and did the work to follow through and trust
Right,
God. And
trust
this
God.
is what's happening.
That's what's happening. And so because of
Wow.
that, that's led to us now getting ready to do two more films.
Mm-hmm.
It led to the Black Indie Filmmakers
Yes,
Association,
yes,
and so all these
yes,
other things now are opening up
yes,
because of that. Me trusting God
yes, yes, yes.
and believing that what He gave me,
Mm-hmm.
He gave me to me for a purpose. And the bigger
Amen.
purpose is, again, I want to stress this: the film was not to for me to get any glory, not for me to get any big props,
Mm-hmm.
but what it has done is touch a lot of people's lives
Mm-hmm.
in such a profound way.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it brings me to tears, the emails and the comments people are sending to me all the time,
Mm-hmm.
who it has blessed their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what it's about.
Amen. You have you have embodied and lived the intensified life model, the example. Like everything from just pursuing the fullness of God in whatever season of life, whatever stage of life, not relenting back or allowing fear or doubt, youth or inexperience
Right.
to hinder you, but and then even into your senior years now, not allowing that to keep you sitting and idling by. Like there is always something else God will reveal for those who are open to receive it.
Absolutely.
And I think the beauty in this is that you are also intentional. That's why we say be intense and intentional about pursuing God's fullness for your life. And
Absolutely.
this is an example because one seed watered, and the watering and all of that is the research, the follow through, the
Right.
nurturing, that just
Right.
going forward. Let me pause because I want to go back to a season you said when it when you couldn't get it out and you got discouraged. And then I remember the pandemic happened.
Right.
And so it set the release date back too. I remember that.
Exactly.
I
Right.
remember a
All
few,
those
yeah,
things.
all
Right.
of those things.
Absolutely.
What kept you encouraged? What helped you to maybe try again or to just be open to something else? I remember you said, I
Right.
surrender, it's up to you, God. I
Right.
did my part.
Right.
But
Right.
what kept you, I guess, still lifted up in a way that you could even hear God say, try this?
Okay. I'm glad you. Again, I'm glad you asked that. So early on in the conversation, I said I learned a long time ago to uh, put your hand in God's
Mm-hmm,
hand
mm-hmm.
and trust that uh, to the fullest degree.
Yes.
So
Intensify your trust.
my relationship with God is a daily relationship.
Amen.
So by that I mean that I am constantly, constantly in communication with God, constantly. Just as we're sitting here talking,
Mm-hmm.
I can spend hours just sitting on the couch or walking down the street, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
having these conversations
Yeah.
with God. So I developed a lifetime relationship with Him
Mm-hmm.
way back when, and so that's why I trust
Amen.
God unequivocally that no matter what I see, no matter what it looks like, if He's giving me something, He's gonna bring it to pass. And so I trust that. I trust that.
I'm gonna stop having these interviews that's trying to mess up my
Yeah,
mascara. That's the one thing I'm gonna have to do.
I trust it. I
Thank
trust
you.
Him. Yeah, I trust Him. Because what
Because
else?
that's it,
Well,
right?
that's it, right? I
That's
trust Him,
it.
right?
Period.
Period. So,
And God is trustworthy because over and over God continues to prove His
yeah.
faithfulness
I mean,
and the
I
ways
mean,
that we
come
see
on.
it open up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come on. I mean, every day you wake up,
every
right?
day, right?
You ain't. This ain't you.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't you waking you up,
Mm-hmm.
right?
This
It's
is awesome.
God.
It is. It is.
So if He can
I
wake
told
me
y'all
up,
this man just cool. And what I love about it is if you see him just walking around the street or whatever, you wouldn't even think necessary because he cool, just chill, got his hat, I just love this. I love this. And I love that you are encouraging us at any age and stage of life. It's
absolutely.
just always something for you to lean into God and trust God about.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Whew. So I know we have to wrap this up. I'm so grateful that you allowed
Well,
us into
thank
your
you.
beautiful home.
Thank you.
But I want to wrap up with just another word about what's coming up next because I
Okay.
know you always have a next.
Right. Always have a next. Well, we're in the process, and we'll start in the process of filming our next, or doing the next film. Uh, it's called The Social Worker, and it's a story of a young lady who loses her eyesight in
Okay.
a car accident, and she loses a large percentage of her family,
Oh.
and her struggle to get on the other side of that
Mm-hmm.
and reclaim her life. Very powerful story. Some great actors and stuff, and we're gonna be filming in Houston. So we'll start
Awesome.
filming in April,
Okay.
and hopefully had release later in the year 2014, 2024.
24. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we
And
have some good stuff to look forward to. And I'm just excited that you are moving forward and opening the door for others. So I definitely want to make
absolutely.
sure if you are a filmmaker, if you're creative, if you want to write, if you want to do anything in that genre, or if you just want to get connected to cool guys like this and learn how to follow God in your craft. Because a lot of people think, and this just came to me, oh my, wow. So many think that you have to curse the darkness rather than light a match or turn on a light.
Absolutely.
And I say that especially about Hollywood entertainment. There's so much that's negative, but God is using people to make a difference and to impact that industry. And who's to say that there couldn't be more creatives and more writers and directors and people who need to have a voice that you are opening the door
Absolutely.
and creating the platform for them. So thank you on
Oh,
behalf
you're
of
so
all of them.
welcome. So
Thank you.
welcome. You're so welcome.
I'm looking forward to seeing how that blows up. You heard it here first. Listen,
That's right.
you heard
That's
it
right.
right here. Intensified
right.
Life TV. Come on, y'all. Right here first. All who are interested in getting connected, how can they find you and the Black Indie Filmmakers Association?
So actually the best way to get a hold of me is to send me an email. That's the thing. Send me an email, because I say that because an email is personal.
Okay.
And so I like to have that personal contact. And a lot of times people will say you can go to the website, and I have a website, or go here, go there. No, if you're really interested in film And what we're doing, send me an email. My email address is Thomas Carter, ONE@gmail.com. That's Thomas Carter, THOMAS, Carter, CARTR1ONE@gmail.com.
Get ready for a lot of emails.
That's
You
right.
notice?
That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm
And
here for.
listen, pass that on to someone. You may not be the one, but you know someone who would benefit from being connected with this guy. I am so grateful for this time and I really appreciate it. I'm looking
Thank
forward
you.
to what you're going to be
Thank you
doing
for having
soon.
me.
And I would love to be able to come back one day and
Yeah,
we'll be able to look back on this and see how
absolutely.
many more movies and how much more
Absolutely.
you've opened and some of your proteges who are going to
Absolutely.
have an opportunity to make film. This is going to be wonderful.
Thank you
Thank
again for
you.
having me.
Listen, intensified life is real. I say it over and over, but being intentional, being intense about God's purposes, pursuing God. He didn't say the word prayer, but a constant conversation means that you are in tap, you're in tune. There's an intimacy that you're walking in to help give you guidance in ways that you probably would not ever imagine, but it leads to unimaginable blessings. I want you to stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. This is Intensified Life TV with Dr. Lakeisha B. Yes.
Yay.
How you
Yeah.
feel?
Good. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So welcome.
This was good.
So
I think
welcome.
that is a beautiful story, and I'm hoping it'll bless a lot. I know it's gonna
Yeah.
bless a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I've had, but you don't know, my very first wife and daughter, I was 21. They got killed.